Hi there, my name is Erin McDaniel. I'm a 6-time IVF survivor and now a mom of 2 boys. I'm so glad you joined me today. Thank you very, very much. I hope the next few minutes that we get to spend together are helpful and informative for you as we talk about managing fertility treatment and a classroom. I have since taken my personal journey of fertility experience and I now parlay that into a coaching service that I offer to women where we meet one-on-one to help them feel more empowered, calm, and be able to handle the ups and downs that come with a fertility treatment. So in the course of my time in doing this coaching, I have had the opportunity to work with many teachers. And so today I'm here to share some of my tips and customize them specifically for you that have been vetted and tested with my clients who are also teachers in the classroom. So thanks again for joining me. I'm so excited to have you here. I promised that we would be talking about managing fertility treatment and a classroom. And I think that, as we all know, fertility treatment is extremely difficult. That's really an understatement, isn't it? But it's even harder as a classroom teacher. So if you are in this session, you've probably already spent months trying to get pregnant. You've probably come to a realization that getting pregnant can be a lot harder than we were led to believe in our 8th grade health classes. And you're probably frustrated and anxious about what lies ahead. Maybe you've already done treatment. Perhaps you're anxious about trying again. And if you haven't yet tried, perhaps you're concerned about what it's really going to be like. And in particular, how will you manage it given what you do during the day? Your job is not flexible as a classroom teacher. You are expected to be at school during certain hours. Time off is difficult to arrange. It requires planning and it requires handing off your job to someone else to do for the day. It's not like a lot of other jobs where if you're out of the office for one day, something just doesn't get done. You don't have that luxury. And the other thing about being a classroom teacher is your day starts early. All of those logistics are directly opposed to how fertility treatment works, with multiple appointments, early monitoring and medication administration, and required time off that can't be planned more than a few days in advance. So let's move into some practical tips. These are very tangible, very easy, little to no cost involved ways that you can survive and frankly even thrive through your fertility journey, even in the midst of managing it within the classroom. These are time-tested and teacher-tested approaches that I have used myself as well as with many clients, and I hope you find them helpful and useful, and they enhance your days and ultimately your fertility as well. So first one is scheduling. Again, this probably will come very naturally to you or to most of you. And it is something that is, it will be critical to your success. And what I mean by success is your sense of empowerment and your sense of calm throughout a fertility treatment. And those are markers of success, regardless of your ultimate outcome of a particular treatment. So scheduling. As you are choosing a clinic, ask questions about availability. You will be, whether you're doing an IUI or an IVF, you will be expected to go in for monitoring frequently when you are going through treatment. For IVF, this amounts to every other day or every day during about a 14-day period. For IUI, it's a little less than that, but it is frequent. And what you will want to know is when you're choosing the clinic, you want to know what are their hours available for monitoring, do they accept appointments, and can you somehow work with your nurse or the scheduling person to have a slot, a consistent slot that's early enough for you to then get to school on time. The other thing you may consider is if you are going to a large clinic that has multiple locations, if there happens to be a location where maybe your doctor doesn't practice, but they would perhaps be able to do your monitoring, that would be another option, is you could go to that other clinic for monitoring, and they would be able internally to communicate your results back to your doctor, but give you a little bit more freedom in how you can arrange your mornings so that you can get both the monitoring done and get to school on time. My second tip is around communication, and this may not be for everyone. I acknowledge that not everyone has a relationship or a school where they feel very safe in sharing personal information. I hope you do. But if you don't, I do understand this tip may not work for you. But if it does, or if you think it might, I encourage you to consider being proactive and upfront in communicating to either a supervisor or a fellow teacher about what is going on. And when I say what is going on, that can be any range of things, from I'm going through some medical stuff to the full detail of here is my treatment plan. But what's important about this communication is that you can be forward and upfront about the fact that your schedule may be changing for, again, a few weeks. Make sure that they understand that this is temporary and that you understand this is temporary, and that you may be out of the classroom unexpectedly, and you will give them as much notice as you can. But if you're going in for a retrieval or the IUI insemination, you may not be able to plan that in advance, and that may happen on a school day and force you to be out of the classroom. So you can let them know that. You can also then be proactive in how you will plan for this adjustment in schedule and potential time out of the classroom by preparing and organizing, leaving, good materials for a sub. You know how to put that together, but let them know and assure them that you are being responsible and proactive, and you will, of course, not leave anyone hanging. It's really about helping you take some stress out of this situation and give yourself the relief of being able to be proactive and take control of the situation. Tip number 3, shift focus. We see what we focus on. So, as a quick demonstration, if I told you to look around wherever you are and identify everything that's blue. Take a mental note if you're looking around the room, everything in the room that is blue. Take a look, try it right now. And then I'll say, so what was that white thing in the corner? Chances are you will not know. You probably didn't even see it because you were intently focusing on the color blue. When we are focused on one thing, we don't see other things. We see what we focus on. And the reason that this is important, and the reason that my tip is to shift our focus, is that oftentimes when we're in the midst of a fertility struggle, we see pregnant women everywhere. They are all around us, and they seem to be multiplying. They seem to be everywhere, and that can be a huge trigger for all of us, and especially those of you who are most likely elementary school teachers. The chances of the kids in your classroom having parents who are having additional children, and as you're seeing parents or as you're seeing volunteers in the classroom, you feel like you're constantly in the face, or it's in your face, or honestly, your fellow teachers. They may also be having children and being pregnant. And it can be very difficult to be faced with that day in and day out. It can get wearing and draining. So my tip for you is, and if that's not your trigger, this works for any trigger, really, something that you think you are being constantly bombarded. My tip for you is to shift that focus. So intentionally shift to something that's more joyful and energizing. So this could be as simple as focusing on a particular color. Today I will see all the blue. To something, a little bit more giving, and that could be, I will compliment 5 people today. I will share a grateful thought with 4 people today. I will spread happiness and kindness to everyone around me today. I will share this skill that I possess with someone else as a way to brighten their day. The little acts of kindness can be a nice focus for this. But whatever it is, whatever it looks like for you, whatever feels genuine to you, I encourage you to try that so that you can start to, instead of, if the pregnant women in the room were that color blue that you were only seeing, you start to shift your focus to, yeah, perhaps I also see them, but I'm also now seeing the white in the corner, and oh, look at the green over there, and oh, isn't that beautiful too? You know what? In fact, I am not surrounded by pregnant women. I'm in fact surrounded by fill in the blank, the variety of people that you do interact with and you do see all around you. My 4th tip is self-care. And this is a buzzy word. Everybody's talking about self-care right now. What I mean by self-care is a lot more than manicures and massages. Self-care is giving yourself the opportunity to refuel and refill your proverbial cup so that you can continue pouring out to those around you. And as a teacher, you are at risk of becoming especially depleted, given the demands and expectations that so many people have of you every day. And as a teacher who is going through fertility treatment, I always tell people that when you're going through fertility treatment, it's as if your cup has had holes placed around the bottom of it, that no matter what you're pouring into the top, there's going to be excess drainage that's just coming out the bottom. It's just part of this experience. And so what I hope for you is that through these tips, but especially the self-care tip, you will be able to have so much coming in on the top that those parts that are going to leak out the bottom don't have as much of an impact as they would if you weren't able to refill from the top. Take the opportunity to learn what it really means to give yourself care. And so what I'm talking about when I say replenishing your energy is I'm talking about doing this every single day. So this is not, I schedule a weekly massage. That's wonderful. Please keep doing that. But what are you doing every single day? So it is different for everyone. So I encourage you to stop and consider, where do you get your energy? Is it from time alone? Is it being with other people? Do you enjoy movement? Or do you enjoy quiet reflection? Do you enjoy a creative outlet? Whatever it is, you find what works for you, and you come up with a way to be able to practice it every day. So decide what it is that fills you up and decide how you can bake it into your schedule every day, and be very realistic with the amount of time that you have. And I do think the 5 to 10 minutes is what most people can stick to. I hope you'll feel that lift, that refueling that comes from day after day of pouring more in, knowing that between your classroom responsibilities, and your fertility treatment, there's going to be depletion throughout the day. So you have the opportunity to pour in more than you ever have before and see what happens. Sixth tip is very simple. You do it all the time. But that is to breathe. So what I mean by this is a little different than what you're doing right now to stay alive. Keep doing that. That's important. But when I talk about breathing, what I mean is to intentionally breathe as a way to slow down our nervous system. Slow down that flight or fight response. So often, as we're stressing about fertility and the unknowns that come with it, we can even feel ourselves just breathing right up here from the very, very top of our lungs. And in doing that for long enough, we convince our bodies that it is in danger. And when our body is in danger, it shuts down systems that are not necessary for life, including reproduction. So imagine back in the day, if you are running for your life from a lion, your body is not interested in digesting. It is not interested in getting pregnant because, quite frankly, it needs to move and get out of the way of that lion. And so in our modern day world, we convince ourselves we're in a similar stress and danger position due to just the way that we live, traffic, being late. If you think about all of the times that you get stressed under normal circumstances, and then you add on that layer of feeling stressed from fertility treatment, and you can very easily be living your life in that state all the time, and you're never giving yourself that chance to, the other side of fight or flight is the parasympathetic nervous system, and that is the rest and digest and reproduce. So that's when we sleep. That's when our digestion is working efficiently, which is very closely tied to reproduction. If you'll notice, all of those organs are next to each other. And of course, reproduction. So it's important to make sure that we give ourselves that time to rest, digest, and reproduce. And breathing is a very simple way that you can give yourself this moment. Try and kick yourself back into that state, out of the fight or flight. And you can do it as many times as you feel you have opportunity throughout the day. It's a matter of breathing very intentionally. So one of the easiest ways I find is to be somewhere. It doesn't have to be quiet. I know that's difficult, but be somewhere where you could perhaps close your eyes for a moment. So whether that's stepping into the bathroom, whether that's during a prep period, whether that's when the kids in your classroom are all focused on their work, and be able to breathe in go all the way into your very center, into the very bottom of your core. Breathe all the way in. If it helps, think about breathing into your womb. Breathe in for 5 counts, and then exhale for 5 counts. Keep trying that. Do that at least 3 times, and notice how you feel. Notice the difference in your mind racing, in your muscle tension, in just your breathing. Or did you notice that you moved your breath from here at the top of the lungs all the way to their full capacity? And try that as many times as you can throughout the day, particularly as you notice that you're starting to get stressed or anxious. Try that as a way to calm yourself and recognize that calm and the benefits that are coming from it. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really had a great time putting this together for you, and I hope that the tips I shared are welcome and helpful, giving you daily doses of calm, stress relief, and empowerment as you go through your fertility experience. So you can learn more about me on my website at myfertilitycoach.com. And I do one-on-one coaching. And for a limited time, as a special offer to participants of the Educators to Educators Conference, I will be offering a couple of group programs as well. So I'd love for you, if you found this helpful, to sign up for one of my free strategy sessions. You'll find the link below this presentation, and we can have a quick phone conversation, determine if a program or a group of sessions might be right for you, or simply if you want to ask follow-up questions or pick my brain, that's okay as well. I'd love the opportunity to talk with you, and if you feel that additional conversations would be useful, I'd be happy to help discuss that and steer you toward the right program. So you'll find also a downloadable from me that outlines the simple tips that I talked about. So you can print that off and take that with you as a little reminder of all the things I talked about, as well as then a freebie of some of my favorite resources for someone who's in the midst of a fertility journey. So you'll find those links below. And again, if you have questions, you can email me, Erin, at myfertilitycoach.com, or just learn more about me on my website at myfertilitycoach.com. I do hope you'll book one of those sessions so we have the opportunity to talk and see if some of my additional coaching services could be helpful for you. And I'm sending you all the best wishes for you and your fertility journey. And I do hope that 2019 is the best year you've ever had. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.